Hear ye, hear ye. It is draft week. We've got all four co-hosts on the show, and I'm ready. I'm ready to just embrace what is the generational talent incoming with this draft. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about anything that Davis wants to talk about, and I'm sure he's got a lot to discuss. And Tuttle's always got stuff to talk about.
Mr. Hawk 05.
Right. He never shuts up. And Pete's on the show today, too. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start it. It's the Swolecast, presented by kb.gg.
Are you David Static from the Swolecast? I was like, yep, that's me.
I just want you guys to know I'm total dust. I'm the problem.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Leave it to the guy with the crypto dunes, Abby, to not understand context.
I should have known you getting 30 likes was directly written by someone else.
You know me, I don't do a ton of research before the show.
I've put no research into this. Don't know if it's true at all.
You're on the right show.
To it, bro. Live a little.
Live a little.
Just live a little, guys.
All right, welcome in. David Kitchen here alongside my former co-founder, Dan Gasper, Mr. 05.
You guys will always be co-founders together. That's never going to change. Right. It's not former. It's like saying a former first-round draft pick. You'll always be a first-round draft pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
True.
But
fact check, true.
My
sorry to come out
company,
so sassy, but just say it. Yeah, you're company.
You know, Sassy Pete's back.
Semantic Pete.
And then Davis is here and Pete is here too. Davis, you were saying something before the show though.
About what?
About my shirt?
Yeah. I can always know when Dave wears the old Fantasy Insiders gear that he's thinning out a little bit. He's got the got a shirt that fit him 8 years ago, 9 years ago, 10 years ago when we were.
I thought it just meant Holly was behind on laundry.
Holly does. It's 2025. I do my own laundry, pal.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's making you sandwiches in that household and doing kitchen's laundry.
I also do a bunch of the cooking. Tuttle, you're on mute, but want to get.
Yeah, it was just a sandwich joke. Nothing good.
Oh.
There you go. We're aligned.
Okay. Pete, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. I'm excited for the draft.
Yeah. I am too. Davis, are you excited?
Yeah, dude. The draft is one of the greatest events on the NFL calendar. I probably enjoy the draft more and I just realized I didn't change the camera view. I probably enjoy the draft more than most NFL games. It's like more relevant for how I engage with fantasy than the actual games. The actual games are in my from my perspective, are mostly annoying and painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you sick, Davis? Your voice sounds super deep today.
Yes. Yeah, I've got a little bug.
Going through puberty. Tuttle, you and I are on opposite ends of the spectrum because you were saying that you didn't even know the draft was this week. Like that was breaking news to you.
Yeah, I was just toying with you. I've been prepping for this my whole life. Really the last 2 months though, really strong. It's up in Green Bay, so I gotta do my state proud. I'm just
I'm going to send you a promo code for the late round prospect guy, Tuttle. On the house, pal. On the house.
Oh, wow. I will totally look at that for about a minute.
Well, just all I ask is that you look at the colors. Meanwhile, I'm on the other side. I think I told you guys, I didn't even know like MLB like opening day was opening day. I was trying to look at what college basketball scores were. And I was like, oh, it's opening day. And that used to be such a huge deal in like the DFS world that I was in, and now I'm in fantasy football world.
This is kind of neither here nor there, and Dan probably knows a little bit about this. There's this whole alternate timeline of people who like never left 2017, like they still tilt like MLB DFS results every night. Like they'll still be doing,
yeah.
Dude, I can't believe Cy Corbin showed up tonight. Like stuff that we would have said in the old Fantasy Insider Slack.
I mean, something I would have liked to teach myself like 10 years ago was not to like stress over every single at bat.
Yeah, but you do.
I mean, that's some of the fun of it, right? But oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that adds years onto your life.
If I was playing MLB DFS, I would still be sweating at bats.
I had a miserable at bat experience last night. Had the lower on Gavin Williams, 7.5 Ks. He lets a homer up to Jason Dominguez, and I'm like, he's at 101 pitches. He's getting pulled for sure. Lets up a homer. No, they leave him in. He's up against the 9-hole hitter, strikes him out on 3 pitches. Fuck.
How are you sweating that? Are you pulling up the game, or are you just watching the?
He's doing ESPN game tracker, I bet.
No, I've got
MLB.
I've got ML. I have the package MLB at bat or whatever.
Okay,
Nice.
so here's my question, Davis. When you sweat that, would you rather sweat the video of it, like watching it, or knowing that DraftKings or whatever, wherever you're on, it has like more up-to-date info with their tracker? Would you rather follow it there?
I would never follow it inside of a sports betting app ever.
Never.
I'm a purist, Dave.
Okay.
I'm more curious, has Pete ever sweat any sort of MLB DFS bet?
No chance.
Anything MLB?
There was a stage I remember when. Do you guys remember? Court Smith. He did Bet the Prop. I think he does some stuff with ETR. Like when he started his prop service, they were doing strikeout props, and I remember it was before they had gotten super efficient. And I remember sweating those a little bit, but that's about as close as I can remember.
Miss those props because strikeout props are the worst. They get up to 2 strikes, and you're like, "Oh, come on!" You have the either way. You have the under or the over, and you just that's tilt right there for sure.
Yeah.
So
I just like even with like the Masters, I had fun tracking the leaderboard because we did the Swolecast, but I didn't watch a second. Like it was just like in passing, I would pull up the leaderboard throughout the weekend to check it. But it was even when they went to the playoff, it was like around dinner time or whatever. And I'm just like, I'll just find out what happens after the fact.
Yeah, I feel un-American for how little I cared about the Masters.
You needed to get in the Swolecast.
Some Swolies have the sickness. They were asking.
Yeah, the Swolies are like, are we going to do a draft Calcutta? Are we doing an NBA playoffs Calcutta? And I was like, brothers, we are trying to keep our head above water here.
Yeah, for sure. And we're also just trying to, figure out the balance. And one way we balance it out is by setting the table. And what better way to set the table than Mr. Overzet's overview?
Got that dog in the butt. Got that dog in the butt. Overzet overview. Come
on. I just had like a feeling that Tuttle would be here, so I did get one Tuttle joke in.
Yes.
Wow.
That was some good run good. The NFL draft kicks off on Thursday night. Kitchen told us before the show he's preparing his own big board for the draft. It's just Cam Ward, the wide receivers in order of the Zap model, and 3 Vanderbilt prospects. Crossing them off throughout the night. Mr. Tuttle 05 told us he had a rough Easter. He had to tell his family that the Easter bunny wasn't real because making 14 individual Easter baskets for each kid wasn't realistic. do you just go broke like every holiday, Tuttle?
Pretty much, yeah.
Davis celebrated streaming 150 big board drafts by streaming Little Board 2 drafts.
Is that true?
Oh, yeah.
At what point do we stop congratulating Davis and just commit him to psychiatric evaluation?
Months ago.
Luckily, there's hope for Davis. His hero, RFK Jr., has pledged to find the cause of autism by September. You're in luck, Davis. And yes, Underdog did in fact drop the Little Board 2. It's a $3.50 max contest, although it was less of a release and more of a capitulation to a tidal wave of win Little Board 2 messages from anonymous grown men on Twitter.
They better, let me tell you what, if you were one of these people, you better fill it. I'm already 15 deep. You better fill it if you were one of these people.
Do you know what's so funny? I've already seen a tweet saying they just released it a little too late. That's just like a lot to ask of me to do 50 entries before the draft. Jesus,
grow up.
People.
Grow up. If you've said that, grow up.
When asked for comment, an Underdog spokesman said, LB2 is a tribute to the recently deceased Pope Francis, one final posthumous gift to the poors who he long championed. Rest in peace, Pope Francis. Pete Hegseth is once again under fire for sharing details of a Yemen airstrike in a private Signal group chat that included his wife. It's not the first time this has happened. Earlier this year, he leaked confidential information about ETR's Evan Silva winning an FSWA award. Davis and Pete Hegseth, handshake emoji, complete disregard for private information in group chats.
That might be one of my favorite ones you've ever done because the setup was so perfect.
This is likely our last show without drafting for a long time, so we got to make the most of it. So I'll toss out our first topic. Is Severance on the Mount Rushmore of TV?
Oh,
back to you, Dave.
Thank you, Peter.
Yeah.
Oh boy, we have the draft coming up and all these rumors coming up, and I just want to address something. You know, Schefter came out and said he had talked to some GMs. I want the name of the GM who said that Cam Ward would be the 7th best quarterback if he was in last year's class, according to anonymous GM. Like I want that GM's name because that's garbage. That is hot garbage.
I bet it was Brett Veach.
So,
I mean, what about it's? I think what do you think he was? I would say maybe fourth best.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Pete.
Yeah,
here's what people don't
see. No, he'd be 5th.
Here's what people don't understand. This kid was a wishbone quarterback in high school. He never got to throw the ball.
Dave's got it bad, dude.
He had one scholarship offer.
Local news doing their profile pieces.
He had one scholarship offer. You don't think that chip on his shoulder?
It's supposed to be bullish that he was a 0-star recruit.
But he wasn't a 0-star recruit. I mean, technically,
I believe he actually was.
But there's no such thing as a 0-star recruit.
Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt was a 0-star recruit.
It was a different position, Davis. And sometimes all you need is to take a chance on somebody and see how they.
Yeah, I believe he was a 0-star recruit. I'm trying to find his rivals right now.
Well, that's what they say. Like that's what LaShawn McCoy came out and said. The guy is getting so much disrespect. All I know is
but that's not that comment. While slightly hyperbolic, is more a testament to how good last year's quarterback draft class was, not saying Cam Ward is a piece of shit.
If you look at Jim Santa's QB model, he's got Cam as a top 10 quarterback in the past 15 years. I'm just saying, the guy has only been playing a quarterback position where he's been like letting loose for 4 years. A highly accurate guy. He is going to just come in and transform this Titans locker room, just like he did.
Locker room?
Yeah, just like he did the Miami locker room. That's what one person said was one of his biggest feats.
He's got good leadership qualities, Dave.
Yes, he's got great leadership qualities. Do you know that they actually, the University of Miami,
Do you just have a Snapple cap's worth of fun facts about Cam Ward right
You,
now?
you know what he did? He did a ChatGPT deep research.
I did not. I promise I did
How
not.
do I convince my friends that Cam Ward is worth the 101?
How do I convince my racist friends in my group chat that it's okay the Titans took a black quarterback?
I told them this morning that they need
bet
to
you
poop
did.
or get off the pot. It's time.
Dave trying to explain to the guy who's somehow more conservative than him that it's okay to draft a black quarterback 101.
Oh no! Are you kidding me? You can't accuse Titans fans of that after the best quarterback in history.
That's true.
RIP.
You know what?
Steve McNair.
Unironic. That's fair. Steve McNair. Cam Ward's agent follows me on Twitter, and I follow him back. And all he has tweeted for the last 5 months is Cam Ward propaganda. Like literally nothing but Cam Ward propaganda.
I wonder why that is, Davis.
Well, I think like agents should try. Like theoretically, it seems.
Oh,
like
they should try to be
unbiased.
balanced and neutral.
I
and
don't
not
know.
Promote.
It just seems a bit wild to me.
Do you have any comments on Trevor Bauer's agent?
The redheaded gal.
Yeah,
Didn't she like commit some crimes?
Yeah, I mean they're together. This is like the whole.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
the
whole dirt.
Most recent thing I've seen on Bauer was that he said only 20 guys in Major League Baseball could give him troubles, and then he gave up like 7 earned runs in like the Japanese minor leagues or something.
Davis saying that a player's agent though is promoting him too much is pretty good though, right? Like,
unless that agent wants to get his player on the take cast, in which case we're
In
all
which
for
case-
that promotion.
I mean, come on though.
I will say that's like a new thing though, right? I kind of get what Davis is saying. It was never this overt.
It's a bit much. It's a bit much, dude. It's all Cam Ward.
that's
the
his
time.
guy.
Is that his only client?
No, Dylan Laube is also his client.
Where are the deals?
We're just going down the top of the IMDb list for the most notable clients.
There we go. All right. There are some rumors though that Browns and Giants are accepting trade offers for those number 2 and number 3 picks. I guess my question is to you, Tuttle. We'll start with you. How crazy do you think draft night's going to be on Thursday?
I mean, what kind of question is that? It's going to be crazy, Dave.
Yeah, like, do you think there's going to be lots of trades?
Wow, all the tailgating that's going to be happening in Green Bay. There's going to be so many drunkards. There's going to be so many trades. It's going to be.
This is crazy that you're not going to the draft and it's in Green Bay, or that you didn't even know it was happening.
Here's the thing: it's not that close. It's not. It's
How
a 3
far
hour.
is it from you?
It's 3 hours.
Okay, yeah, that's a hike.
I did not go
I
to the
had
NFL draft. It
considered
was
it, but
3
then,
hours for me.
Yeah, the 15-person passenger van. It's really a hog on the
3
gas.
hours is like how long it would take Davis to drive to Frankie's Italian restaurant.
Correct.
It's just
Yeah.
like it's too far.
The sticks.
Yeah.
Tuttle, do you really have a 15-passenger van?
No.
Okay.
That was
You have a van?
that's with my wife that we have officially jumped the shark if we ever have to upgrade from a normal van, from a minivan. So we can jam in a minivan now and we're good to go.
Have you snipped the shark yet? I forget.
I have not. We're
Okay.
playing with fire a little bit here, but
Because that might be jumping the shark, not snipping.
life's a little more fun with some gambling.
Well, sounds like you might be interested in gambling on a 15-passenger van.
Yeah. Over under on Tuttle 5.5 kids.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean it's all good.
Yeah.
It'll be fun if it happens. It's yeah. Anyways.
All right.
They don't tell you when you have kids. I mean, it's obviously very, very much common sense. But when they actually get to the age where they start playing sports, or start doing activities that you actually have to take them to,
Yes.
It is.
Every
It is a
Tuttle,
whole
every
other thing.
parent says that is the worst.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
they do tell you that. That is like
No,
like
it's
well
not.
publicized.
It's just a lot.
yeah. I mean, our Saturday it was like one soccer game 8:30, one 9 in a different city, one at 10, baseball game at 11 in a different city, soccer game at 3 in a different city. So yeah, I mean it's
So, Tuttle, I not sure if you've seen, but there is a new sport out there. Have you seen this? It's called sperm racing.
oh gosh, maybe I could do that.
Like this is becoming more popular. I'm not lying. I saw a few
What's
articles.
the setup look like? Do I want to know what the setup looks like?
It's like they have it under a microscope and they see whose sperm goes the fastest.
The one thing about Tuttle, you are venturing into that territory. If you had a couple more, like when they talk about it in the 1900s and people have 13 kids and they're like, the older ones take care of the little ones because there's like a 15-year age gap. So you could get that going for you.
I mean, that's like a spot of guilt a little bit for me. Cause I mean, Kai, who is my oldest, is very much like an amazing big brother. But then there's like that guilt on there that like, he shouldn't have to be this amazing big brother, right? Like he shouldn't have to help watch the 2-year-old type of thing. Like let him.
Everyone outsources jobs now. You outsource to Kai, Kitchen outsources to Manis. It's just kind of the world we live in.
Yeah,
boy. Davis,
that's for him to deal with in
this.
therapy like 15 years later. Dan.
Yeah, I guess it is cool to see the name. We were in on the Kai name early. The Kai name is catching steam. It is becoming.
Yeah, Trump's granddaughter, dude.
Yeah.
Wasn't
really?
Kai? Yeah,
Stay
Kai.
woke.
Wasn't Kai also the name of the crazy hitchhiker that went viral?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Smash guy?
Yeah.
Have you seen the
Apparently-
documentary on that?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Apparently his team is suing Theo Vaughn right now because Theo Vaughn did like a deep fake video where it was like his face on that guy's, and now that guy Kai is in prison, but they're suing Theo Vaughn. I don't know. Fun fact there for everybody.
I did not know the Theo Vaughn reality history. I did not know he was a real world guy.
Yeah.
That's how I first knew him. When I saw him like a podcast or a comedian, or I guess it was a comedian before he was a podcast.
And now you just listen to his show when Trump comes on.
I don't subscribe.
I'm glad somebody took it there. That was good.
It's hard for Kitchen to make time for other podcasts when he when he listens to each All In episode 10 times.
David actually built a Manis agent that just turns All In podcasts into books.
It's a 2-hour show.
Here's the deal, dude. If you've ever listened to an entire All In podcast, I think you should actually be deported. I think that you should be
Davis,
amongst the
I'm
group of
excited
people being deported.
that you at least know what the All In podcast is.
Well, I know it now because I get these Chamath tweets in my timeline now, and he's literally the dumbest person alive.
I had one come across too that made me wonder like what the
That basketball
frankly,
one was absurd.
the basketball one, but I think he probably if I got to start deporting people, he'd be in my top 5. I think.
He's not. He's not. Wasn't born in this country.
I assumed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guessed. I did.
Last
pick
one
that
in,
up.
first out is kind of Davis's policy.
a little LIFO.
But JJ recorded a 2-hour and 20-minute podcast with Matt Kelly last week. So
we're still giving Matt Kelly pub, huh?
I was curious if I was gonna make a comment, but I'm not very
he had
into
run.
The Swolecast, sponsored by Fast Draft, coming soon.
No, I mean he's starting his own. I enjoy the first 30 minutes of it, especially because he's starting Fast Draft while also being a content creator. Basically was saying he doesn't have enough time to be a jerk like he used to be. It wasn't really that, he's turned a new leaf. It was like, I don't I don't have time to research other people's takes. And
did you hear that? If you're an asshole out there, folks, all you have to do is load up your plate with so much responsibility that you don't have time to be an asshole. What a life hack.
You know what? Frankly, I get that because I don't really have time to do that either. I used to argue with people on Twitter all the time, and now I'm like, dude, I can't imagine taking 4 hours of my day to argue with someone.
That's how I feel about food. That's why Tuesdays are my fasting day, because it's just my busiest day, and so I don't even have to think about food until it's over.
Kitchen, you know how sometimes I was listening to the Late Round podcast today. JJ had his rankings, his rookie rankings, and I noticed he said it was his 986th episode, and I immediately went, I wonder what Kitchen is cooking up for the 1000th episode.
He doesn't want anything for the 1000th episode.
This is where you take
Kitchen. This is like when your wife says, I don't want to do anything for Valentine's Day.
But JJ listens to every Swolecast, so I can't.
Know. That's why this is so fun.
If I was cooking up something, I would not disclose what I was cooking up here, but I have.
You need me to send a soundbite to a special Gmail address, kind of congratulating him on a big run.
Yeah, I don't know, but he's actually probably had more than 1,000 podcasts, because some of the podcasts and shows he does not number. Those
like
are
something
just
an AI agent could really get to the bottom of quickly.
Yeah. Toss that in Perplexity Pro.
Like how many? We did a what was it? Was it 1,000 episode deal on Fantasy Insiders? I feel like
I vaguely remember for the morning show. Whatever that one, I forget what that was called.
Yeah,
with Dan and Laffy.
It was with everybody.
I'm
Davis
sure
was on that show too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm sure we did 1,000 episodes of that show.
Guess we were on it for
a life well spent, I think, is kind of what I'll remember from doing that show.
All right,
60-hour work week there at FI.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, Ferris has got some more.
All right, I've got something.
Okay,
that we can discuss that I can actually loop Dan in on. Draft betting used to be sick, used to be really fun. It's dust now. Draft betting is so dust.
Why do you say that?
Are just terrible, right?
The pricing, like the only way I think I would do it now would be one, using GamblyBot to arbitrage, like just to get the best prices on something, like only if you could.
Here comes another incoming Venmo from Cal to Davis.
I wish, brother. Or only long shots. Like I would just be betting a ton of shit at like 50 to 1, 40 to 1, 30 to 1, 20 to 1 type stuff. Like the second you get a wind of it, right? Oh, Genty might go at 5, and you can't do it now, right? Genty's like 2 to 1. You go at 5. But the second you get wind of it would be like, yes, what Benny said. You just watch for stuff like this. You that I think that is the only way you could.
Yeah, I don't understand how you're saying it's dust. Like Thursday, you're still going to get some wild swings, right? Like if you don't.
It used to be legitimately beatable.
Well, the thing, it's if you are grinding this stuff super early, and you can pick off stuff before we get there. But like to Davis's point, you get the rumors from Schefter about Genty and McMillan being in the mix for the Jags. And now like both of them and Mason Graham, all of the odds are just awful because they can just, the way they're able to have the hold, it's just, it doesn't even add up to 100%. They just juice everything up there. And then someone's like, oh, I heard Genty, I'll bet it at plus 120. That seems good.
Most of them aren't even two-way markets, right?
Right.
Like we're not getting a no on
most of them are. I would say very few of them are two-way markets. Yeah.
What is what would no be like on a Tep McMillan top 10?
I might even be able to see if they have.
Look that up.
Can you go to GamblyBot,
yes.
Davis, and
yes,
see?
I can. I can.
We gotta give this Benson comment some screen time real quick because I wanted to comment on that one.
Yes.
Like,
So
what-
Jeff Benson
what-
did tweet this and basically just said, "There's no upside. We're not doing it."
See, because that's interesting to me. Like, with the limits that they're able to place. Well, I guess
Well,
you don't
basically
really
like
want.
you're only taking action from sharps who are like locked into.
Yeah, that's kind of the what I just arrived to. I was gonna say you could use it as like a promotional thing, but the only people betting are sharps. So then, like, do you really want that?
Right.
Isn't this where like a peer-to-peer kind of
No vig app, dude.
Wait, did you see the most recent peer-to-peer?
Yes. Sorry.
the-
Let Peter make his point.
Yeah. All right.
No, I'm saying to David's point, I agree. Like, I've placed a few bets. Like, I'm not even excited. It's not like what's driving my interest for the draft. But what if there was a major $1 million to first mock draft-esque tournament where you bought in for $25 and everyone slotted their thing, and there was certain points for getting an exact team fit or an actual slot fit, and whoever had the best one like took down $1 million prize. Like, that would be fun to build a mock draft competition, because then you could actually hit on a long shot prize, for being correct, as opposed to, picking up -120s for individual markets.
All right, DraftKings, are you listening?
I would play that contest.
Yeah.
They probably, I always forget, they always have those like free pools and stuff, DraftKings. I don't even know if you guys know what I'm referencing because they're not like promoted. But I'm sure they have.
What they are.
Yeah, I'm sure they have stuff, but I mean, not near $1 million prize pool. But I'm sure they have stuff like that already, so it wouldn't be that hard to implement.
Yeah, I mean, the implications for fan, and it's like people who've been drafting a bunch already, like that's already the skin in the game. Like, you're trying to see which players that you drafted a bunch of are gonna get a good landing spot, what kind of CLV you're banking. That is kind of like the built-in sweat equity for the fantasy community, where you don't feel the need to like fire off a ton of random prop bets.
What's the best mock draft out there that I should be looking at for somebody who's?
I would use grinding the mocks, which is just like
aggregator,
an aggregation. Yeah.
This one that I have up is just NFL.com, and I was surprised scrolling down. Matthew Golden, is he really getting that much? Do they have him mocked at like pick 12?
Oh, Tuttle.
Yeah, he's gonna go ahead of Tet.
Tuttle, have you heard like
I'm
the
still
Golden stuff, like the
I saw the
theories?
40-yard dash controversy.
Controversy.
It makes sense that it was mistimed to me, quite honestly. I mean, he never showed that his stock rose like crazy towards the end of UT season 2. That's been a straight rocket ship.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see.
What was his other athletic testing though?
It was all good. He's like a 9.1 RAS guy.
Yeah. I still think the Cowboys, if they have the choice between Golden and Tet, I think they're taking Tet. I think the Golden stuff is just such an easy narrative. It's like the Blake Corum to Harbaugh stuff last year. We all love connecting that simple dot, but it's like Tet's such a better player and a better fit for what they want to do in that offense. They're both good fits, but I mean, the downside of Golden, I think, is just so much higher than Tet.
Henry Ruggs ass pick for sure.
Yeah.
Friday is going to be the fun day because of all these running backs and figuring out who's going to be a day 2 guy and who's not going to be a day 2 guy. Like,
Tuttle, what is your explanation for why Ollie Gordon sucked last year?
Honestly, I have no idea. That was quite the drop off though, for sure. Yeah, I don't know.
I saw a mock where the Titans were getting Neal Davis.
Devin Neal. He'd be a good compliment to Pollard.
Yeah, and Tajay.
I think Tajay's done.
I think he's. You think
if they take a round 3 guy, yeah, Tajay's done.
I guess,
Davis, what do you think what do you think is more likely for this, like the running back class after, let's just say like the top 5 or whatever, like once Judkins and Henderson are off? Do you think it's more likely there's like a run and like a guy like Socrdave sneaks into the second round and everyone's just tripping over themselves to get these guys? Or do you think the class being so deep is everyone's just gonna be like, fuck it, I'll just wait till round 5 and grab my guy? Like, what do you think's more likely, a crazy run or everyone punting it?
I think a crazy run is more likely because teams get scared of like missing entirely. Like if 3 guys go within like 5 picks, I think we could see a run. But if like particularly if Judkins and Caleb Johnson fall a little bit, like if like let's say Caleb Johnson doesn't go till pick 64 or whatever, then I think we'll see a huge slide and we'll see like Giddens and Harvey and all these guys end up being round 4 picks, round 5 picks instead of round 3 picks.
Yep. Pete, that's the opposite. I was just thinking of like, you guys have done all the big board drafts. The opposite of seeing like we were CLV guy on these rookies would be like the guys that you're loaded up on who could be like in line to split carries now or to be a backup running back now.
Like, yeah, so Caleb Johnson has dropped pretty big from where I remember him initially being. Is that what's the story there?
He just didn't test as athletic as everyone was hoping for. I still think he'll be a like mid to late round 2 guy. I kind of agree with Davis because I think because running back is just the strongest position overall in this draft class. I think you're gonna have a lot of teams who do the thing where it's like, we don't draft for positional need. You know, Devin Neal's the top guy on our big board right now. Like we're just taking him. We're just taking the best player. And I think you're gonna have that for a lot of teams in like round 3, round 4. Like running back's just the best player on our board. We just got to take him.
If they say this is like a generational running back class, then the teams want a piece of that, and they don't want to feel like, yeah.
Interesting.
It's a huge running back class. It's like flipped based stuff of.
I mean, there's names out there, but a lot of these guys, like I'm reading through this, these guys don't seem like, I don't know.
You should really take a look at the late round prospect guide.
Tuttle, you know, he knows these guys based on what they did. Like,
yeah, what if I told you Bachel Tootin a guy?
No, Tootin,
Tootin was fine. He can do everything.
What about like if I told you Jaden Blue from Texas is being viewed as like a guy people really like and think is going to be a good NFL running back?
Isn't he tiny as hell?
Yeah, he is. He's fast, but that's about it.
This should be a show next year where it's just us. It's us answering Tuttle's questions.
Us telling Tuttle where, like, I mean, the funniest thing is that Tyler Shuck is being viewed as like some teams are saying they want to take him in round 1 now.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. But even I'm still astounded by this RB hype. Like, I'm seeing Brashard Smith ranked fairly high, Damian Martinez. Like, are these guys we're really that excited about?
Martinez is definitely a kind of a polarizing guy.
The thing is too is those guys are going to be on average like better running back prospects than that typically go in like the 5th or 6th round, where so many of those guys like get cut, you know, or 4th string or whatever. These are going to be higher quality, and there are just so many good landing spots in so many kind of committee backfields. I keep thinking of the Commanders as like the perfect example where it's like, okay, Brian Robinson, Eckler, like that's fine. But any kind of rookie with any pulse can come in and take over that backfield by the end of the season. And I think that's what this class has, is all those, like, you know, even you could do like Kitchen, like even Pollard, Spears. Like if they spend a 2nd or 3rd round pick, like that running back's taking over that backfield by the end of the year.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. Especially if it's if there's someone that is kind of more of a bruising back, you know, more of a guy that's going to get over the goal line, because honestly, Pollard and Spears kind of had the same archetype. But like if they drafted Socrdave, can you imagine? But here's
let me tell you, chat would be.
Yeah. All those Tennessee white boys would be just so stoked about
Scadaboo would be a hit in Tennessee.
The thing with
It's
the Titans
the mold.
though is that they don't have a round 3 pick. So they only have like the number 1 pick and then another pick in the top 100. So they say they might trade down that round 2 pick because I want them to get Luther Burden.
He's polarizing to me too. I know that's probably
polarizing to everybody. Yeah.
Except the Zap model, baby.
Why was the production out there last season?
If you listen
What's
to
his
some of the
name up there?
guys,
Because their offense went
Theo
to the
Weiss.
shitter, and their
and
quarterback
they
got
said like
hurt.
maybe he didn't try as hard, basically.
I don't know. Theo Weiss had a decent year, right?
Yeah.
Burden is still a dog, and I think that everyone just needs to zoom out on the chart and say you want dogs. Burden is a dog. Very simple.
Kitchen, who would sell more
is-
jerseys if the Titans drafted both Cam Ward and Scadabo? Would Scadabo out earn
Yes.
more than jersey
I think he
sales?
would. I think he
I
would.
think he would too. Number 1 overall pick,
It'd
getting
be-
lapped by
That's
Scadabo at the
hilarious.
team store.
It
Not
might-
even it wouldn't, dude. It wouldn't even be close. No, Dave, admit
No,
this.
it
No,
would be close. It would
Dave. No one from your
no,
group chat
Cam
is gonna
Ward
get a
would be
Cam
number
Ward
1 because
jersey.
he's starting. Yeah.
No,
Scadabo
no,
would be
buddy.
on special teams.
Absolutely no shot in hell. That jersey would go double platinum like Austin Reeves Lakers jerseys at a college darty.
Here, but beyond it being a Tennessee thing, is Cam Ward marketable?
Yes,
You think so? Does he have
Yeah,
huge?
he's-
I don't know.
he's funny. He's charming.
All right.
This is where Kitchen says in 8th grade he was in the lead of West Side
He's got-
Story. It is
So
I mean,
To finish
Cooper's
that
obviously
Miami
the bigger
story-
draw in terms of personality, but I don't know if you ever want to go that big. But I was just curious. Like he feels soft spoken to me.
they measured his heart rate. Dude, just cool as a cucumber.
And he plays like that, which is actually kind of frustrating at times. Like he's very casual. He'll be out there like scrambling, but like running like a mile per hour,
Yeah.
like barely trying to dodge guys, but he can do it because he's that skilled.
He'll get there. As far as tight ends, have you seen like the mock drafts, Tuttle, where the first round might have 2 tight ends taken?
Yeah, that was the other thing I saw. What's his name was really high.
that's like
Fucking
a lock.
Tyler
Those two
Warren
going.
was like
Yeah.
10th in this mock draft I was looking at.
Warren and Colson Loveland, yeah.
Warren seems high. I mean, Loveland does too. I mean, that seems, I don't know. Is Warren, we kind of had this conversation before. Like, is he, I mean, he does everything well, but does he do anything like extremely well?
Yeah,
He
he's
throws
the
the
new
ball
Taysom Hill.
incredibly well for a
He
tight end.
throws the ball
He
incredibly
was
well.
he was a lefty. He was a lefty quarterback in high school, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. So, like, the thing I saw a stat come through my For You page about the yards on screens, basically
Yeah.
for Warren versus like Loveland, and Loveland was like they weren't manufacturing these screenplays for him essentially. Which to me, that I mean, there's some indication there, right? Like if a lot of your yards are being force fed to you, that says something potentially.
Hope it says something for Harold Fannin.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Why
Where
you say
has he
yikes,
dropped
Richard?
to? What's his outlook?
He's dropped big time.
Like basically people like me, like real slappies, are just hoping he goes in the 3rd round, and the haters are saying this guy's a round 5 ass pick.
Yeah. I feel like he's going to be a day 2 pick, but compared to where he was like middle of the season, you know, just the product, like you just don't see a tight end with a production profile like that.
Kitchen, you have thoughts on
his
the
was
duck
athletic testing was his downfall, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Well, and like just like the way he ran his gauntlet. He has duck feet, dude. His feet point out. It's not great.
Fannin equals Kyle Pitts 2.0. Are you guys out on Kyle Pitts?
I
Pete.
drafted him the other day.
You did?
I think it was like my first share in the big board, but yeah, Took a
I've
Do I
seen
even
some
know
more
where Kyle
FUD.
Pitts plays anymore? Is he still?
Same team. Falcons
team?
still stuck with him.
Okay. I assumed
still-
with that question he had moved somewhere.
I'm still taking Kyle Pitts.
I just have seen more kind of FUD on the timeline where they're saying, "Listen, the experiment is over. This guy is back up."
Well,
tight
sure,
end
dude.
new."
The experiment the experiment can be over, but he could just be he's a deep threat tight end, dude. I mean, that's basically which is like fine for his ADP.
Are you saying, Davis, that maybe he's just better in best ball formats?
No, I
Well,
mean tight end stink in
certainly.
general.
Certainly, yeah.
This is a very funny comment. Where do you rank Fannin if he goes somewhere where it rains a lot? That's very clever. I appreciate that.
All right. We got
Somebody
15
talk to me
minutes.
about Genty.
I'm totally hip on a team trading up for Genty. I don't care. I'm not going to be one of these nerds fighting against it.
You think
I'm not
he's
gonna
the Raiders though? Like, you think a team's going to trade up to number 5 pick?
That's the new buzz. Is that the Jaguars are basically trying to get someone to trade for their pick.
I love that's the biggest domino I want to happen. I don't want Genty to be the chalk pick to the Raiders at 6. I want something crazy to happen with Genty, because then I also think that could trigger more fun. It could trigger Trevion Henderson potentially sneaking into round 1 if a team gets shut out and is like, fine, then we'll take Amari and Hampton, and then we get that little run. That's what I want.
So long shot markets here, Dave, that you can bet on. If Genty gets to the Raiders, I think you bet on Sincere McCormick more rushing yards than Ashton Genty. more carries than Ashton Genty.
Certainly more receptions.
We don't know that. Travion is going to be a fun one for sure. But I think Amarian, he is the guy that I'm looking forward to seeing where he's going. As someone that's got the 1.02 in my dynasty draft,
I think spending a 1.2 on Hampton is a little fraught.
Kitchen, I have the 102 too, and it's keeping me up at night.
It's like, especially in Superflex, do you go with Cam? I think you might have to.
I'm good at quarterback, so I want to go somewhere other than Cam. And I do agree with you. I think Hampton, if he's the second running back off the board, will be the chalk 102 in Superflex, even then. Yeah. And I want to take Hunter or McMillan with it, but then I'm like hemorrhaging a little value, and no one's going to trade back because everyone knows it's a flat tier there.
Yeah, Davis, who would you pick in the 102?
Cam Ward.
Yeah,
boring. Not going to make any friends.
What if you had that? My quarterback room is Kyler, Jordan Love, and Caleb Williams. Like that's a pretty good quarterback.
I would try and trade the 1.2 for
move back.
Any wide receiver 2 that I like. No, I try and trade it for a player.
I want Davis's take, because I was thinking about this. I want Davis's Travion Henderson take, because I think his experience with Henderson, since he plays more college football DFS, probably more resembles mine, where Henderson was kind of always injured,
tilting.
Tilting. He was like, you always wanted him to be more than he was.
Yeah,
and
he
so
would
it's
always
hard to like translate that into some draft evaluation, because it doesn't matter at all. But like,
I mean, we're talking about a 4-year prospect who was never a workhorse. His most touches in a season was his freshman season.
That freshman year though was insane.
No, I know he was awesome, but he is like a high. I mean, he's like Rass was decent. I don't know, man. 144 carries in 16 games, and your school actively sought to bring in another guy to handle the between the tackles stuff. And actually, Judkins was not a 0 in the passing game either. 22 receptions to Henderson's 27. I probably find myself being a smidgen lower on him than other. All 4-year running backs are a tough ask, especially like I would not be surprised if Judkins actually goes ahead of him in the NFL draft. It'll be really interesting to see if the Raiders take one of them with their second round pick, because Chip Kelly was their OC last year. I mean, I think it's I don't think it will happen, but it would be very interesting if they're both on the board and they take Judkins or they just, which I think that would be a big tell. Kind of interesting.
Well, and I mean, you made a comment for your running back, and that's why I was kind of taken aback by that. This running back draft class is thought to be some amazing. Like, it's just a bunch of guys that put up a ton of stats over 4 years. This is what I see when I scroll through this list. Like, you got Taj Brooks in there. Like, you just got guys that put up a lot of counting stats basically over the years.
Yeah, but Tuttle, you're kind of sounding like a DFS normie right now. Someone.
I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe there's some athletic profile that pops on some of these guys, but I don't know.
Yeah. Like,
Are we gonna be drafting Best Ball Mania teams next week? Are we just off to the rate? Are we just gonna be drafting every week like we did last summer?
Why not? Do you have a better
I'm just
idea?
asking. I'm not opposed. I'm asking. It's coming so fast.
I think it's time to ship, and I think I'll commit to broadcasting all 150 of mine. Some of them will be videos, but I think I'll commit to doing it.
Keep the Chiefs. Well, Tuttle's invalidating my entire pre-draft strategy.
Yeah, Tuttle. All of us nerds who've been drafting in these pre-draft tournaments on Underdog have just been smashing the button on these rookie running backs.
So here's the thing. Like, it's very. I'm not saying these guys are. I just think it's almost entirely landing spot dependent, beyond maybe like Genty. Like,
but the landing
Hampton,
spots are going to have more draft capital than previous classes.
Yeah,
And like legitimately half the league
it's
has
just landing spot dependent.
Right, but your moat for a good landing spot is wide this year. Like so many teams, there's only like 10 or 15, 10 to 15 teams that are just like rocked up at running back that are good to go. Everyone else could use a good running back.
That's a better selling point to me than thinking like this is a super talented class.
A bunch of them were great at the combine. The big difference from this year to last year, Tuttle, is that the free agent running back class in the NFL was terrible. Najee Harris got the most money of anybody. And it was a 1 year, $9.5 million like incentive laden deal.
So who was like, give me a running back that maybe not quite as highly ranked that tested amazing.
Bashal Tootin.
Well, Tootin was the epitome.
And that's why he's jumping up.
Tootin was a last round pick. Then he has I don't think he's quite a 10 RAS, but he ran 4.29, 4.32, something like that at 215 pounds. He crushed it. So he's a big one. Jaden Blue, not at the combine, but the Texas Pro Day, ran super fast. Who else? Basically, like Judkins was not expected to be a huge stud in that, and he was number one in the entire class in relative athletic score. So that was a big one.
Yeah.
Caleb Johnson actually did bad. Caleb Johnson actually ran a 4.58.
Stock kind of tanked.
Yeah.
Got
kind of a bummer.
Tuttle, what's your take on
Harvey?
Tosh
Or
Brooks?
people are saying Giddens, Harvey.
Yeah,
Harvey had a good combine. Giddens had a good combine.
What's your take on Taj Brooks? Tuttle.
It's so hard to tell with these volume guys, right? That just like Brooks, no joke, was getting 25 plus carries in basically every game he played. Like, so it's just tough. Decent offense, got so much volume. He's okay. I don't have like some strong. I think Harvey's the interesting one. He was a little on the opposite end, right? Like he was a workhorse back, but at the same time wasn't like fed as much as some of these other guys. I don't know.
The other thing too, it's just like it's an unfair spot to put Tuttle in because like what you're trying to do in these drafts, right, where you're trying to win 250,000, you're willing to take on the risk of a lot of these duds to hit on the Bucky Irving. And the bet is basically there's going to be a couple Bucky Irvings this year as opposed to just one in this class. And so then it's worth spraying and knowing you're going to torch a lot of teams with zeros. But knowing that like, hey, if you can get the right combo of, 2 Bucky Irvings on one team, all right, now you're cooking.
Yeah, and I guess just explaining to Tuttle why some of these people, there's like varying opinions. Like there's so many of these running backs, we don't know what teams like which one. Like Matt Waldman loves Taj Brooks, is why I was asking you that. said he makes lemonade out of lemons. Like he didn't get really very many open looks, and so like you're gonna have all sorts of these guys that more than likely have increased draft capital, and that's why we're saying it's like a big draft class. That's why Friday will be really interesting, just from the fantasy rookie side of things.
What's the Jarquez Hunter take? Because I see him ranked fairly high. I liked him, but I don't know what
he doesn't wear gloves, so he's a badass. To me, I thought he is just like a total, like, he's like the most just a guy in the class that I can imagine.
Okay.
He's no Travis Hunter, that's for sure.
The other thing too about this class, right, is we're also getting like the whiplash juxtaposition of last year, which was like one of the worst running back classes we've had forever. Like the best running back didn't even play at all last year in Jonathan Brooks, and yeah, it was pretty depressing. So I think everyone's just jacked up. Like to have this influx of talent after last year feels very fun.
I kind of think we're almost saying the same thing here, in the sense, like, when I was making my originals, like, all these guys are good beyond the top couple. It's just like, how do you differentiate? But that's why you diversify, I guess, if you're drafting this early.
Yeah, and there's obviously like the different profiles in there, right? Like, and there's some good fits for the bruiser backs, right? Like a Judkins or a Marion Hampton would make so much sense for the Steelers. And then you get like the Brashard Smiths of the world, where you start to get excited about their pass catching role in an offense. So I do think the fits will be interesting in that regard.
Yeah, any boots in the ground take for the Patriots?
I will say it's funny. I think there's a few Patriots beat reporters who are actually calling for the Pats to like get Genty, which is hilarious.
I thought you were going to say Scottabo.
Yeah,
that is another fan base, by the way, where that would be a top selling jersey.
But the Patriots lost all credibility after they passed on Ladd McConkey last year, who would have been
true.
Like, the pride of New England for a decade. Just a complete bag fumble. But yeah, Scottabo with the Patriots would be so on the nose. It would be great.
All right. I think that's about it. I mean, lots of ball talk on today's show. Not a ton of bits. It's fine. Sometimes you got to have shows like these.
I don't know. I think one of my new favorite bits is anytime there's something that airs on the right political spectrum being controversial. My new thing is going to be that your group chat is just applauding it enthusiastically.
Yeah. You guys have way more, like, Pete's overview told me two things I had no clue that even happened. Yeah. But you also have to remember that, like, I would say the group chats are going to scale way more towards like whatever the opposite side is. Like your liberal based group chats are going to be the ones like, can you believe this? Can you believe this? Whereas,
buddy, I don't think there are liberal based group chats anymore.
There's definitely.
I think all the lib group chats got shut down.
No,
they're all on Blue Sky.
Yeah, they're all on blue. They're all in the Blue Ski DMs.
But anyways,
no. Dave, I did have something. Did your normie group chat bet the Nick Castellanos home run prop yesterday?
No.
100%.
Because
that's how you know you're like a scale of 1 to 10. You're in a 10 normie group chat. If
my
you get the Nick
point though
that
being that if like the conservatives have some things that are like messing up, they're not going right. They're not going to be putting it in the chat. Like, oh, we messed up again. Like they're not going to be putting that. So that's why I'm saying like I am finding out information from the Overzet's overview, which is enlightening.
Well,
I ran across a good liberal bait last night. Well, no. So did you see the Joe Biden Easter picture?
Yes.
No.
Where he's very clearly photoshopped in, like very, very, very clearly.
I'd bet photoshopped in at -130, I think.
Oh, yeah,
no, it's like
it's on his Twitter. Pull this up.
It's on his Twitter. Like
That's so bad.
This isn't. They didn't even try.
Do you
like,
need
they
me
didn't
to
even
present
put him
it?
in some sort of
I got it.
position.
Okay. It's so
and then
weird.
they still left somebody's arm or hand around the guy that he's next to as well. That's not his hand. It's like a completely different skin tone.
Many such cases.
Zoom. We gotta zoom. It's so good.
But like, why do you even try? Like, this is what I was so
Even the assumption that we're supposed to buy that he would be kneeling
Right.
on the top step is absurd.
One of my
It's not letting
So
me zoom.
Somebody was saying
So-
like he would have had to be standing in like a 5-foot hole in order to, like, for this to
Josh.
even make sense.
I did
Josh,
not see the.
Josh Marino said Grok said it wasn't buy, and I don't buy it. That's my new favorite thing on X is that after you see a tweet, Grok, is this real?
No,
Grok.
dude, the Grok people.
I
I
do
just
see that all the time. Yeah.
I need those people to also be excommunicated.
The Grok people love talking about the color theory on separates.
Oh, enough, dude. Enough. I maybe
Davis, if
guys,
someone
am I just
gifted
am I
you-
just getting old because
Yes,
I'm
you
just
are.
frankly
You're getting
annoyed.
like old cranky guy. Davis, if someone gifted you a Tesla, would you drive it?
Sure.
Oh, that's a really good question.
Do you know I drive a 2012 Honda Civic with a big
Yeah,
dent in the trunk?
this is
'cause a
why I'm
tree
asking.
fell on it.
This is what I'm asking. How much do you?
The fuck do I care, dude? Yeah,
Yeah, just
sure, I'll drive it.
capitalize.
That's
Davis
fine.
would take it down to the skate park and let all of his bros like, get your keys, dude. Scratch up my new Tesla.
I will say this: the Cybertrucks are the ugliest pieces of garbage
are
that have
very-
ever existed. But the normal cars or whatever, it's just a normal car.
Yeah, not just
Yeah,
a
I would-
normal car, a car that's going to achieve self-driving.
I'm super pro self-driving car because it's more time to spend on my phone.
Right. All right.
You know how many little board twos I could do if I didn't have to focus on the road.
brother?
dude?
Who you think you're talking to right now?
I'm picturing Davis walking his dogs like in the Tesla. He has it at like 1 mile an hour, hand out the window with the leash. The car's driving and drafting teams.
Draft and drive mode activated.
No, dude. You know, Pete. I got to get my steps in. I can't be. That would not be Huberman approved.
Ooh,
right.
I just bought a Whoop.
It's a Whoop. Don't say
No,
whoop.
it's Whoop.
No,
it's
it's
a
a whoop.
It's not a
Like,
Whoop.
Don't say whoop.
It's
Kitchen.
Whoop.
I've never heard anyone say whoop.
No
Yeah,
one.
it's
No
Whoop.
one has
It's not
ever
spelled
said
with a
Whoop.
U, Kitchen.
No, you
Yeah,
can't
Dave.
say whoop.
Dave, you are.
I had
so
one for
far
2
off.
years, and I always said it was a whoop.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I bet you did have one for that. Literally was gonna be my next comment. Was I wonder how many of these various health tracking devices that Dave has had and discarded.
Because isn't it spelled WOOP?
Correct.
WH.
That's whoop. If there's an H, then Kitchen's right. Is it WH or is it WOOP?
WHOOP.
Then I might be back on Kitchen's
WH.
side.
OOP.
I
You think it's
I'm back
what?
on
Whoop?
I think the H.
I think it's whoop, like you're about to get a whooping.
The H
Anyways.
changes things for me.
I did think it was good for the 2 years I had it, Tuttle. I think
Yeah.
you'll see after a year of having it, you'll be able to like figure out what it like confirm the theory that like alcohol before bed, even if it's like a glass of wine, is going to change your
Yeah.
sleep, like your deep sleep patterns. Like,
Ooh, I should
Like that-
experiment some.
yeah. The one
should
thing it
probably-
did do is sometimes it would tell me that I was just going to be dead that day. And I felt like that changed the way I approached the day. Like, if I didn't know-
did consider that. Yeah.
Right. If I didn't know, it wouldn't have been. But no, I like, and they're doing more stuff with it, like the technology. Like when I had it, I guess I haven't used it for about a year now. I just use my Apple Watch. But like workout mode was different. They were just kind of introducing workout mode. So
Yeah, but old Better Collective is doing Move in May, and I needed a. I gave
remember
Kai
Move
my
in May.
Apple Watch, so I needed to get in on it. FSA approved, baby.
hey, can I tell you what I think some people are doing for Move It May, or just basic step challenges? I think they're getting on the Peloton and putting
You
their
think they're
phone
juicing their numbers.
and putting their phone in their pockets
Interesting.
because you're looking like you're getting more steps.
Is this a Riley accusation?
No, Not it's not Riley. It's someone else. I'm not
Because didn't he crush? I know.
I'll tell you, Riley legit was walking everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I saw that guy who had a sickness. 30,000 steps though in a day.
30,000 steps. That's like
Yeah,
a marathon.
There were like a
No, it's
handful of
not.
guys that did 30,000 steps for the whole month. They got over 1 million steps because you could only max out.
Did they lose weight?
Probably.
No, like 30,000. Based on that would be close to like 20 miles.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, that's a lot of.
Yeah.
That's
I
a lot
do.
of
I
freaking
get
stuff.
like 15, 17,000 on like a.
So Davis, I will say, Lauren and I have compared ours, and my
It's 'cause I
dad
got
and my
little-
mom
it's
have
'cause I
this
got
too.
little
Those
legs.
little
It's
legs.
'cause
She's
I
always
got
getting
little
extra
legs.
steps in compared to me. I'm like,
'Cause I
okay.
got
Oh,
legs.
that makes sense. Actually, yeah.
Yeah,
My
like I'll
parents have-
go. I go for like a 3-mile walk with my dog, and that'll be like for me. That'll be like 10,000 steps.
Wow. Yeah, 3 mile for me would be like 6,500.
7 steps. Yeah.
My
It also
parents have
depends.
really funny spreads because my dad's 6'5" and my mom's 5'3", and theirs like will be off by like 5,000 steps.
Yeah. It also depends on like the mode. You're like, if I play pickleball with just an Apple Watch and don't like engage like activity mode,
All right. Cool.
it does not count like the steps nearly. It'll give me like 2,000, 3,000 steps. And I'll be like dripping in sweat.
Like I'm sick, and I could probably go get 30K today.
Yeah. Pickleball,
Just
tennis, basketball.
because my legs are so little.
That's crazy.
Also, shout out to Dan Bach. Guy went winless the other day in pickleball.
Shout out to Dan Bach. Does he want to sponsor the show?
Maybe.
Yeah, move it, May. How about you move the Swolecast back? Start paying
Price of the
them.
brick just went up though. You know.
I actually I might legitimately have another sponsor iron in the fire. I'll let you guys know.
Ooh.
Okay.
Same.
Someone
done.
has to
All
get
right.
us money around here because you guys aren't doing it.
Yeah, someone was supposed to commit to doing a Friday show, and then Dave said nothing for 3 days.
What?
And you robbed the people of an Overzet members only on Friday.
I did. I asked if it was still happening.
Dave, I'm gonna let this one go.
Wait, so who do I turn my timesheets into then?
Davis.
Since we're talking right,
Yeah.
where do I send
Yeah.
those?
The
Yeah, I'll
Swolecast
pay-
AI agent. That
Davis,
probably
did you
does our payroll.
did you set the show up though on Friday like you said you were going to? I just asked if it was still happening. I was going to do it.
I didn't set it up on Friday because I need to give Peter access because there's going to be times when
Okay,
maybe
so
I
don't
can't do it for whatever
keep blaming
reason.
me for that. Davis.
Here's what happened. Davis checked in with me because I did a show in the morning, and I said, if Kitchen gets it all organized and gets it ready, like I'll show up and do it. But I hadn't heard anything, and I was like, I'm not gonna prod Kitchen to
Yeah.
set up me doing a favor for you guys. If you set it up, I'll show up. You hadn't gotten the ball rolling at that point. By the time you did text me, I had already scheduled stuff in my afternoon, so I had
Okay.
moved on. That's
Okay,
what
but
happened.
I did check in though, and
You
Davis
did.
did say he was going to create the stream for us, so I hadn't heard on
You
that.
did. You didn't completely ghost it, but I just also like I needed to know one way or the other earlier, and we were working on different timelines.
Understood. All right. Tuttle, you have anything you want to plug there over at RG?
No.
No? Okay, good.
No.
Davis?
I'm about to go record a mock draft with Connor Allen from BetSperts, so you guys can check that out over on the TakeCast YouTube channel. If my voice is better tomorrow, I'll be streaming. If it's not, I won't.
I like your voice a lot better right now than it typically is.
Well, that's very rude. But
You sound defeated, which is
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah.
Just,
yeah, it just doesn't feel good. It just doesn't. My throat hurts. So
You can do some ASMR shit with this
Hey,
voice though.
Can you do the Davis
the
Maddock
mic
impression right now?
Dude, it's like I'm sitting there on the clock, and it's like I'm on pick 14, and I have to take Xavier Worthy here because it's a stream draft, and everyone knows that if I don't take him here, someone's gonna take him before I get back. So, like, dude, I'm just gonna take Xavier Worthy.
no, it's too much pep. Right? It's
Yeah.
I'm gonna be streaming with Connor Allen in about 10 minutes. Curious to see where he has Membo going. So,
Tune in for that.
You just
Yours
went.
almost sounds a little.
He just went cousin Sal.
I thought RFK kind
You
of.
just went cousin Sal doing Bill Simmons right there.
All right, Pete.
I'm about to do Off and on the Clock with Nez and John. I think we're gonna do predict the landing spots, do a little competition, see who can get the most right. And then on Thursday night, of course, ship chasing draft show extravaganza.
Am I going to be on that show?
You are. You
Okay.
are. I reached out to both members of Late Round QB. We were hoping to lock one of them up, but we got our alternate choice, David Kitchen.
You got your man. You got your man.
Dude, JJ.
Who better
I've
to talk
asked-
Titans and Browns than this guy?
I think JJ has something against ship chasing because he just keeps negging all of our invites, the Dynasty mock draft. So I'll have to settle that beef. I think it might have been the fact that it took me a couple of months to redeem my late round QB
Your
draft
draft
guide
guide.
promotional copy.
Tuttle, do you want to come on for the Packers pick, bro?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would. Wow, that would be amazing.
But it is
Yeah,
we got a ton of fun guests. Obviously, Kitchen for the Titans pick. We got Ron Stewart for the Jets pick. Cooter Doodle for the Saints pick. Dwayne's coming on for the Cowboys. We'll have Shope for the Bills. Davis claims he's going to join us for the Chiefs pick late.
Chiefs
in
or
the evening.
Cowboys?
Yeah, which one, Davis?
It's actually funny. Have we been doing ship chasing for so long that the first time I came on it was for the Cowboys pick? It really might have been. Yeah.
Your fandom is flipped. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. I'll be staying up anyway. Unless
Right.
if I'm still really sick, then maybe not, but I should be fine by then.
Yeah, that's Thursday night. Rusty said JJ had time for Liam. I just want to like clarify.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. How about
that was not
brother?
during draft night. Here's the thing, and here's what you get. Let me defend my boss for a second.
Why are we giving the people an extra 11 minutes on an unsponsored?
Here's
Swolecast?
what
I
you
have
get.
a hard out.
Tuttle. Here's what you get with the late round prospect guide. It's going to be basically completely edited and rewritten and ready for people that have already ordered it
New
or
color schema.
have redeemed the
Yeah.
promo code.
Have you been in the Pantone lab?
There's going to be
Are we gonna get a facelift?
there's going to be new tight ends. There's going to be updated prospect profiles, new updated Zap scores, and so you're going to get that on Monday. No other draft guide is turning that around, and part of that is that JJ has to sacrifice being on prestigious shows like ship chasing in order to do that work. But that's why I'm here. So
Is there going to be a flippening in how Ole Miss is displayed in the draft guide?
we'll see.
Okay.
I guess if you ordered the guide, you'll see. And that will do it for today's show. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Appreciate Tuttle being on this show. Appreciate Davis going in sick, and appreciate Pete just always setting the table with the Overzet's overview
Sassy Pete.
Sassy Pete. He was good. Pete, I can excuse your absence, like not showing up on time when you have like fire Overzet overview like that. Like if it was like a bad Overzet's overview.
I was here at 12 o'clock on the dot.
Yeah, I know, but like you missed the whole pre-show meeting. That's all I'm saying.
The free
Yeah,
That's Dave. That is one of the funniest things you've ever said on the show. Honestly.
All right.
Can you imagine? Has this show in its history ever had a show sheet?
Yes.
Probably when Evan like first came on, like the
no,
first time he
it was
agreed to do
after
it.
that. I don't know. We had it for like 3 weeks. I got Sosa to do it, to put together the show sheet, and it lasted for 3 weeks. So,
Dave, how much did you pay Evan for this show the first time that he did it?
I don't know. Maybe like $125 a show. It wasn't nothing. Now the value of the Silva.
That's a pretty solid rate for.
Yeah. The value of the
Something
Silva
to go
appearance, though, went down when he was doing a show for literally every other show out there. You weren't.
He was.
You didn't feel exactly special.
Once he realized that he could get money out of Fantasy Shane, it was all over for everyone else, dude.
Silva was actually doing the Davis model before Davis. and
Yes.
just pouring himself out for 19
Except people were willing to pay whatever price back then. Like now, there's like a ton of streamers. Back then, there was only one Evan Silva.
Let me tell you, 125
this is why-
is pretty low in this economy.
Just to put a big bow on today's show, this is why I believe in Cam Ward. Because you know who else was his
Jesus
0-star recruit?
I'm out.
Pete Overzet. Pete Overzet was his 0-star recruit. And look at him now.
Are you David Static from the Swolecast? I was like, yep, that's me.
I just want you guys to know I'm total dust. I'm the problem.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Leave it to the guy with the crypto dunes, Abby, to not understand context.
I should have known you getting 30 likes was directly written by someone else.
You know me, I don't do a ton of research